She wasn't the friendliest, but she was kind. She threw a bucket of toilet water on him from her window while he was peeing in the alley. She said the sound was ruining her moment. Every morning she prowls to work, only now she does it alone. 2 days ago, her work colleague and best friend was stomped to death on this very sidewalk. She is fearful. Life goes on. She must pay her utility bill and her rent. Her sister's birthday is coming up and she would like to buy her tickets to see a production of Grease at the Pantages. A client does not follow proper etiquette. She stabs him in the neck with a switchblade and carries on. She has fear. It wasn't always this way. She writes a letter to her mother in Honduras. She tells her auditions are going great. Any day now. Any day. When Will gets off of work, he has only one thing on his mind. One person, Raven. He loves Raven. He loves Raven because she reminds him of a girl he once knew. He thought he loved her too. He's in a hurry because last week he told Raven he'd be there as soon as she went up, but he needs to cash his check first. He goes to the local's checks cash. He knows the teller there because he's been seeing him every Friday for the past 2 years. On his way, he passes by a flower shop. It would be his pleasure to surprise Raven with fresh flowers. Unfortunately, he crosses paths with Johnny, and Johnny's hungry, horny, and hurting, with an interesting point of view on finders keepers. Will decides to go after him. After all, it is love. Johnny falls off his skateboard mid-chase and springs back up. They look straight into each other's eyes. Johnny reaches for his blade, but there's no need to pull it out because Will backs off. Maggie has an audition on 44329 Beep Street. Maggie doesn't live far, just over the hill. Her car was stolen and it takes 3 buses and a train to get to her destination. She doesn't know the bus routes and they seem to resemble Jesus of Lubbock more than the modern day metro. Her destination and audition, a low budget project with no pay. The script is bad, but if she books it, it will keep her from deteriorating. Although she hasn't sold her soul willingly, she wonders if she sold it by accident. She might have. It's cold. That, with the combination of nerves, makes it hard for her to keep her core from jittering. She keeps forgetting to breathe. Her mouth gets dry. She bites her tongue, lets it water, then licks her lips. High heels, pink spandex, leather jacket, red light, green light, action. Maggie Bird. Maggie Bird. Hi, slate, profile, other side, can you take your hat off? Any questions? Let's do it again. Thank you for coming. Maggie feels used. She feels like a whore. Frozen yogurt sounds really good to her right now. She remembers the time her ex-boyfriend called her stupid. She remembers the time he called her crazy. She hears 2 women on the bus whispering. She realizes she was on the wrong bus and gets off, and now she's completely lost. She sees the prostitute and wonders if she's any better than her. She argues with herself and then calms down when she remembers that she's been on the red carpet before. It doesn't matter, she's still lost. She sees a train, so she gets on. It's the wrong one, so she gets off. Nobody knows where Johnny lives except for the police. Nobody cares. He had a friend he met at the recycling plant, but he scared him away when he lit a pile of 22 caliber bullets on fire with WD-40. He's been to county jail numerous times. The judge says if he sees his face one more time, he'll send him to prison. He uses the money on a blowjob, burrito, beer, and a debt to Fast Eddie, because everybody pays Fast Eddie. He puts the malt liquor in a paper bag so the police do not harass him, but they know he's drinking. They don't harass him because they don't care, and because he's a local, and as long as he's not violent, they leave him alone. Again, they know where to find him. He does not have any gang ties, but he's very aware of where and how they operate. He buys his dope off of them. Johnny is an antisocial, but he still gets lonely. Ironically, when he drinks, he has a strong sense of community, but still no social skills. He claims to have never been hugged as a child, but that's not true. The truth is he was hugged too much. The source of the hug died when he was in grade school, leaving him to learn to hunt from scratch. He talks to the ghost of his mother. He can hear her, but she can't hear him. He drowns the sound out with malt liquor until silence. Time to socialize. Will is distraught. He's been riding his bike all over town looking for Johnny, but Johnny's hard to find. He blends in well, especially at night. Nobody has seen him. Nobody cares. He debates on whether or not he should go to the strip club and talk to Gino the bouncer. Maybe Gino would understand his situation and let him see Raven, just for a minute, just so that he can tell her what happened. But he's wrong. Although Gino is polite and sympathetic to his situation, Will has mistaken Gino's professionalism for friendship. Gino tells him to leave. Will is offended he's being treated this way and raises his voice. He's having a hard time accepting this. Gino pulls out a baton and gives him one more chance. The embarrassment settles. Will is furious. He wants Johnny's heart. He wants Johnny's soul. He doesn't have an ATM. He lives check to check and he's late on his rent. He has no one to go home to. He considers having a drink. He's hungry, horny, and hurting. He feels like ripping someone's head off. He feels like ripping Johnny's head off. After walking for 2.5 hours, Maggie finds the bus that takes her over the hill. It runs once every 3 hours at this time. She sits to wait. The day catches up to her and she falls asleep. She has a dream of her ex-boyfriend calling her crazy and ending up alone in a house full of cats. During this time, the bus passes her by. She wakes up startled. She wonders if she missed it. She waits patiently. At least she has somewhere to sit. Johnny is still on social hour on the same street Maggie waits. However, the clock is ticking. He asks her if she likes his Rolls Royce. Maggie doesn't respond and pulls out her cell phone and starts to browse. Johnny notices this and starts to poke at it. He asks her why she's pretending to do stuff on her phone. Is it because she thinks that he's crazy? Because he's not the one who's pretending. He's just trying to connect. She's the one that's crazy for pretending to do something on a telephone. He begins to sing a house version of The Great Pretender by The Platters, switching over into a house version of Crazy by Ozzy Osbourne. Maggie asks him to stop talking. She's on her last nerve. He says he wasn't talking, he was just singing. Again, calling her crazy. Maggie gets up to leave, calling him a fucking asshole on the way. Johnny yells that she's not gonna make it to the other bus stop in time and she's gonna miss it, calling her a crazy, stupid bitch. That's all she can take. She sits back down because she knows he's right, but she's still upset and Johnny's still rambling. She remembers how pissed off her ex-boyfriend used to get when she called him a pussy. She decides to use that on Johnny. That's all Johnny can take. The incident earlier left her feeling high-strung. She worked a different part of town, except she does not leave the subway, wanders from train to train all day, alone. She still carries the switchblade in her purse. She wonders what would happen if the authorities catch her with the weapon. She wonders what would happen if the authorities catch her without the weapon. Will they stomp her? She plays games alone in an empty part of the subway. Cartoon arrives. He needs to take the train to see a girl who wrote to him in prison. He has just been released. They call him Cartoon because he did tattoos in the joint. All kinds of tats. Sailor tats, military tats, jailhouse tats, that sort of thing. He liked her silhouette. It was something he was used to, something familiar because he was locked up for 15 years. Tina was waiting for him to talk to her. He wanted to tattoo her legs. Just as he's about to make a move, the noisy train interferes with his game. He waits for it to leave before speaking. He tells her that he didn't mean anything by staring. He explains to her that he's a tattoo artist and would love to work with her legs one day. He then talks about the relationship he has developed from prison with a pen pal. He shows her the address he's going to. She says she knows that area very well and would show him the way if he'd like. They share a moment of silence. When they arrive, Cartoon sees the address does not exist. It jumps from 15600 Barrio Street to 15602 Barrio Street with no 15601 to be found. The building he's in front of is the backside of a Korean dry cleaning and the front side is a different number on a different street. She knows this. She knew this all along. Fucking puta, he says to himself. She feels for him and offers him a place to stay for the night. He says orale. Walking on the street, they get to know each other. It turns out Cartoon was locked up out of East Hollywood the same year Tina arrived. They also share the same interest in Lisa Lisa and the Cult Jam.